Number 5. Right away we want to notice some important features of this argument. The word so is a conclusion indicator telling us two things. The sentence that follows so is the conclusion of this argument, and the sentence that precedes the word so is one of the premises. We also have the word because, which is a premise indicator telling us the sentence that follows is the other premise of the argument. I chose as my terms people vulnerable to arrest and prosecution, foreign emissaries, and people with diplomatic immunity, represented by the letters V, F, and D. If you chose different letters to represent the terms, you want to go ahead and do a quick cross-check with my letters with your letters so that you can make sure that your argument looks just like mine. So with these as our terms, symbolically represented, the argument says no D or V, some F are non-D, some non-V are F. We want to reduce down the terms by eliminating the term complements non-D and non-F. We can do that really easily with our second premise by simply obverting it. And if we obvert some F are non-D, we're going to get some F are not D. Now the conclusion is going to require two steps. We're going to have to first convert some non-V or F to get the statement some F are non-V, and then we can obvert that to generate the statement some F are not V. So we've got to convert and then obvert in that order the conclusion statement, and then we'll have an argument that consists of three terms that appear exactly 2 times each in the same way each time they appear, and we've got our major premise up here at the top, our minor premise here as the second premise, and we can now mark all of our distributed terms. When we do that, we can now apply the 5 rules for categorical syllogisms to see if this argument is valid or invalid. D is our middle term, and it needs to be distributed at least once according to rule number 1, and it is. It's distributed twice. Rule number 2 says if you've got anything distributed in the conclusion, and we do, it better be distributed in a premise, and it is. Rule number 3 says you can't have 2 negative premises, and we do. So our Venn diagram should reflect that. And it does. When we shade in areas 3 and 4 to show that no D or V, we then run into a problem when we try to mark some F are not D. We could put an X over here in area 5 or area 6, and we don't have a reason to choose one area over the other. Therefore, the X has to go on the line separating areas 5 and 6. That tells us that this argument is invalid. And if we do our triple check by looking at our inventory of valid forms, we're going to see that the form of this argument, EOO in figure 1, is not a valid argument, and it's not a valid argument because it has exclusive premises.